Chapter 4. The Pitfalls of Pride and the Beauty of Humility. Section 1. Opening, the Wisdom Frequency. Hello and welcome back to the Wisdom Lab on NovaLogos Audio English. In our last session, we discussed the diligent hand and the dignity of work. But as we grow, as we become skillful, and as we begin to see the fruit of our noble labors, a new danger often emerges in the laboratory of the soul. It is a subtle, creeping shadow that can turn our greatest successes into our deepest failures. Today, we are exploring Chapter 4, The Pitfalls of Pride and the Beauty of Humility. Pride is a fascinating and dangerous element. In small amounts, it can feel like healthy confidence, but, left unchecked, it acts like a slow-acting poison that distorts our vision and separates us from others and the divine. We often think pride is about being loud, but true pride is an internal inflation. It is the belief that we are the sole authors of our own success. Our foundational verse for this chapter comes from the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. This is an architectural law of the spirit. When a building becomes top-heavy, without a solid foundation, it must eventually collapse. Today, we will learn how to build a life that lasts by choosing the beauty of humility over the pitfalls of pride. Let's explore why staying small in our own eyes is the only way to remain truly great in the eyes of the divine. Section 2. The verses Wisdom in Multi-Angles. To understand the danger of pride, we must first understand the height from which it causes us to fall. Wisdom literature warns us that pride creates a blind spot in our souls. Let's look at the book of Sirach, chapter 3, verse 18. The greater you are, the more you should humble yourself, and you will find favor in the sight of the Lord. Notice the logic here. In the world's laboratory, greatness usually means moving away from humility. But in the kingdom of wisdom, the higher you climb, the lower you must bow. Humility is the gravity that keeps our souls grounded as our circumstances rise. Now let's look at the psychological reality of pride in the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom. Pride and wisdom cannot occupy the same space. Why? Because pride assumes it already knows everything. A proud heart is full, meaning there is no room for new light to enter. Humility, however, is a state of holy emptiness, an openness that allows divine wisdom to flow in. Finally, we find a powerful promise in the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 4. The reward for humility and fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. This is the ultimate paradox. Pride seeks honor but finds a fall. Humility seeks nothing for itself but finds true riches and honor and life. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. It is the realization that everything we have, our talent, our breath, our success, is a gift on loan from the Creator. Section 3. Modern scenarios, wisdom in the wild. How do the pitfalls of pride look in our modern, achievement-oriented, wild? Scenario A, the success trap. Imagine you've just received a major promotion or a public award for your skillful work. People are praising you. Your haughty spirit wants to drink in that praise and believe that you achieved this entirely on your own. You begin to treat your subordinates with a bit less patience and your peers with a bit more coldness. The Wisdom Lab suggests a different reaction. Instead of inflating your ego, you take a moment of internal prostration. You say to yourself, "Thank you, Lord, for the health, the opportunity, and the people who helped me get here." By choosing humility, you protect yourself from the disgrace that always follows pride. You remain approachable, teachable, and truly honorable. Scenario B, the know-it-all in conflict. You are in a disagreement with a friend or spouse. You are 100% sure you are right. Pride tells you that admitting any fault would be a sign of weakness. So you hold your ground with a haughty spirit, and the relationship begins to fracture. Applying humility here doesn't mean lying and saying you're wrong when you aren't. It means being humble enough to listen. It's saying, "I feel strongly about my point, but I value our relationship more than being right. Help me understand your perspective." That small act of bowing, lowering your defenses, is the beauty of humility that heals the spirit and prevents a fall in the relationship. Section 4. The Wisdom Paradox, the Balance Point. Now let's examine the Wisdom Paradox, healthy self-worth versus spiritual pride. The paradox is that we are called to be confident and skillful, yet we must remain poor in spirit. How can we be both strong and humble? The balance point, self-love versus self-idolatry. 1. The error of false humility. If you constantly put yourself down, say you are nothing, and refuse to use your talents, you are not being humble. You are being unfaithful to the gifts given to you. False humility is actually a form of pride because it keeps the focus entirely on yourself, even if it's negative focus. 2. The error of self-idolatry. This is when your self-worth becomes self-worship. You believe you are the source of your own light. You become uncorrectable and ungrateful. This is the haughty spirit that leads to destruction. The desirable path. We call this grounded greatness. It is the ability to stand tall because you know you are a beloved child of the Creator, while staying on your knees because you know you are a creature, not the Creator. You use your talents with total confidence, but you wear your success like a loose garment. If it's taken away tomorrow, your identity remains intact, because it wasn't built on your achievements, but on your relationship with the divine. You are a pipe that the water flows through. You don't take credit for the water, you just make sure the pipe stays clear of the rust of pride. Section 5. Language Masterclass, the Structure of Wisdom. let's look at the powerful English vocabulary used to describe the rise and fall of the Spirit. A. Goes before. In Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18, we see the phrase, "Pride goes before destruction." In this context, goes before means to be a precursor or a warning sign. It's a way of saying that if you see the first thing, pride, you can be certain the second thing, destruction, is coming. B. Haughty spirit. The word haughty, adjective, comes from the French word for high. A haughty person is someone who looks down on others. In English, describing someone as haughty is a very strong way to say they are arrogantly superior. Practice the pronunciation /h.ti/ circa in the sight of. From the book of Sirach we see, in the sight of the Lord. This is a beautiful English idiom that means from the perspective of, or as judged by. It reminds us that while we might look great in the sight of men, the only measurement that lasts is how we appear in the sight of the divine. Section 6. Closing. Seal the word. As we wrap up our 4th session in the Wisdom Lab, I want you to perform a gravity check. Is there any area of your life where you've become a bit top-heavy with pride? Any place where you've stopped saying thank you and started saying, "Look at me"? Sometime today, find an opportunity to perform a small act of humility. Give credit to someone else. Admit a small mistake without making excuses. Listen to an opinion you usually ignore. Remember the words from the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 18. Pride goes before destruction. Let us choose to walk low, so that we may stand long. In chapter 5, we will move from the internal state of the heart to our external relationship with the world's resources. We will explore the mystery of generosity and how giving things away is actually the fastest way to receive. If you are ready to choose the beauty of humility today, please like this video and subscribe to NovaLogos Audio English. Let's build a life that stands on the solid ground of truth. Until next time, be humble and walk in peace. Goodbye.